Now it's perfect. So, Merry Christmas, everyone. I know this video might be delayed one day. I hope you all had a very nice weekend. Today we'll talk about a very important thing is how to make video games faster and more professional. One of the most important factors in the game dev uh, is managing your assets. What do we mean in that? Alright, so if you are making your video game, you cannot really tell which video game you will create. Either it is 3D, 2D, maybe you'll create even a 2.5D game. You can never tell. So because you cannot tell, it's really important to have a very huge library of assets pre-made or you bought that you can use to accelerate the production of your games. So at TLD, we have a very huge library of assets. We are publishing some of them in the asset store to share it with everyone, but we have like 126 pre-made tools and 90,000 3D objects. 2D we make this from scratch. Unfortunately, yes, we do have the tools, but we cannot produce something and reuse actually other than mannequins. So these very huge library of assets really help us making very quick decisions in making a game. So after pre-production is done, production gets really easy with these tools. And I recommend you do the same. Of course, we buy like dozens of assets in the Unity Assets Store. You should have all these stuff like Code Inspector and others designed stuff if you need them in your game, or if you did not want to design something similar. I know some of them are pretty pricey, like Gaia, for example, but you will need them if you are really serious about producing games really fast. And I mean really fast in matters of game dev perspective. So we're talking about like if people make a game in 6 years, you make it in 4.5 or 5 years. And even most of these people actually use the 6 years in development, they use the assets too. So it's accelerated by asset use. But this is something that most of beginners don't do. That's why you see many of the beginners spend 2 years in the project and they have the progress of 6 months in the project of someone who is experienced. Also because so this is one of the huge things that you don't want to forget about, is having a very large asset library. Also, one of the things that I noticed that kill the time in production for small indie gamers is actually having no pre-production plan, having no obvious plan for your production. The problem with this one is that if you want to make a game and you have no pre-production plan, or your production plan is pretty ass, for example, you're gonna do a lot of stuff and remove them later, which would be in comparison of the time of making an actual pre-production plan would be 100 times more. So you make systems, you don't feel like they work well, you remove them, but if you did your pre-production plan and your production plan, you would not need to actually spend the time to make systems that you're not gonna use in your final project, which spares a tons of time. That's why you see the 6-month progress in a very experienced individuals takes way more progress than the people who did not make video games before and do not do pre-production and production plans. As much as we really want just to go into the engine and produce the thing, it's very important for us to actually go and do a plan for your game. So this is something you cannot ignore, right guys? I know many people do ignore it and want to ignore it, but you should not. This is very important to do. Also, one more thing, which is pretty important, is using a very effective pipeline. Making a first game would be the hardest thing, not just making the game itself, but making it accessible and actually publishing it in Steam and doing all of this stuff. It's really an experience that you learn a lot from, because these are stuff that are very different from just making a game inside the engine and test it yourself. This game will be tested in different resolution sizes and different people, color blind options you would need, multi-language support and stuff like that. Like worrying about stuff that you do not really usually do. Like when you first learn game development, you are worrying about how to make the player movement actually look good. But going further, you don't worry about that as much as you worry about how to make the game accessible, how to make the game actually fun for everyone, or for everyone in your target audience. So this stuff is really important that you will learn through the way. And making a pipeline after testing and after doing your first game or your second game, I guess, it depends on how quick you learn, is making a pipeline to do stuff. Like we start with the pre-production. We do character designs, environmental designs, we do the narrative design, then we go blah blah blah, do the production plan. So going through these pipelines really helps out. For example, in production plan, we're going to do this, 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 and that. In post-production, I'm going to support this and this and this, and for this long. Doing such a sophisticated plan maybe saves you like tens of months. So this is all I have today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, we are back to daily upload. I'm trying to do it as much as I can. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Drop us a like, a comment, and Wishlist Eggventure on Steam if you really want that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your precious time. See you in the next episode.